All right, guys, this video is going to make some people a lot of money. So I'm pumped on this one. This is something that's been kind of on my mind for a while. If you don't know who I am, my name's Mike. I built and sold an agency for 7 figures about 12 years ago, and I've been scaling my own brands and helping other people scale their brands ever since. I now scale my 8-figure brands full time, and I also have a boutique agency. So I see across a lot of different verticals, a lot of different ad accounts, and a lot of different brands that I help. And I see kind of like the matrix, right? So like I always say, the best part about me is I've been doing this a long time. I love the game. I'm always trying to get better. I love scaling brands, and I see across so many damn brands that I see what's working. And so every now and again, I do one of these videos where I kind of, give my best tips at helping other people get unstuck and scale their brands. This video is for anybody that even is just starting out, or if you're doing up to maybe 500K, even $1 million a month, and you're just stuck. You're not sure what to do. This is a completely, I don't know if it's contrarian, but it's a completely different way to look at your brand. And I think it's so damn refreshing that you can look at it through this lens versus just like, here's, a 5% increase in CRO tactic. Like, that shit is great for clickbait. It's fun to try to implement. But how many times have you seen a brand that you own, or somebody else owns for that matter, have a life-changing brand experience from a CRO tip, and then all of a sudden they're scaling to the moon? Like, it doesn't happen. You've never seen it because it doesn't exist. So this is so much more powerful than that. It may or may not be more difficult to execute, but it's much more powerful, and it's worth paying attention to. So I've got this cool graphic I had an AI create for me, and then I had it create me a cheat sheet so I don't get sidetracked. I tend to get on tangents. And this is kind of the overall summary, and we're going to get into kind of the meat of it. So, people think that scaling comes from tactics. Like I mentioned, CRO, ad tricks, landing pages, new channels. That's where growth comes for sure. And there's some tricks and tips that I talk about in other videos. But in general, those are levers to get more out of an already great product, a already great service, an already great supplement, whatever the case is. Those are amplification devices, not necessarily growth levers in their own right. Most brands think scaling is tactics, conversion rate, creatives, landing pages. They all help, and you should do all of those things, and you should be best in class at all of those things. But they won't get you to 8 and 9 figures. They won't get you to be independently wealthy, to be able to like invest in other things and build an incredible life. Like, you need to create a brand that actually has an identity and speaks to people where they are. And this is the real difference between brands that are stuck and brands that like you just see scaling. Like, they start, people love them. Every channel that they get on, they seem to just like blow up on. Like, it's just like smooth sailing. And sure, they have great tacticianers, but the root of the brand in this identity that we're going to talk about is why, in my opinion. You can pick any vertical, and the brands that are dominating, unless they're like VC backed giant brands, they have an incredibly good, I call it personality, right? Like, the brand has an actual personality. So brands stuck, I said even up to 500K or $1 million. They're usually playing the game safe, like safe, neutral, generic. They're worried about ad tactics, nailing their copy, speaking to their persona, which again is all important, but it's a subtopic after you nail what we're talking about today. And that's the core identity, the core kind of personality of the brand. And they're trying to appeal to everyone. Whereas scaling brands, they feel alive, they feel human, they feel opinionated, and they feel like a movement. Like I keep saying, it's personality. Think about like if you've got like a hobby or a brand that you follow that you love, like not just like some product that you like a brand that you follow, you subscribe to them. If they have a podcast, you're listening to it. If they, come out with a new product that even is not even like something that you've bought before, you're buying it. And if you think about why you like that brand, it's almost always the personality behind the brand, right? A brand is an inanimate object made up by a bunch of humans that got together and created kind of like a movement. And it's how that brand speaks to people. And is it clever and fun, or is it uh, you know sassy and like edgy? Is it like whatever the case may be? You've got to stand for something. And most brands that I see and people that are stuck, I have several calls during the week of trying to help people, and they're almost. I don't think I've ever talked to someone that had already thought of this. Um, and it's crazy because if you think of all the great brands that are killing it, they have this. Like you see their emails, and their emails are cheeky, they're funny, they create a lot of like banter. That like they're doing things different. They're not just buy this thing. This thing is 20% off. They're sending you a message from like Tom in their warehouse that like stubbed his toe, and like they create this very real feeling personality behind the brand. And it pays off. And I think like the big thing is trying to have this like what's the brand's core personality, what's the brand's core message, who does the brand speak to, how does it speak to people, and this is what we believe. And like take it or leave it, love us or hate us. Think about like politics, right? Like politics, they alienate 50% of the people, but people love their side of the coin. They hate the others. So you don't have to speak to people. You don't have to speak to everybody. You just have to speak to a specific group. So pick a side, pick a group of people that are hopefully fanatical, and speak to them and get them to love the shit out of your brand because you speak exactly to them. Why founders are afraid to do this. What if people don't like it? That's probably the biggest one. It is a bit scary when you take a stance. What if we alienate customers? Like, does it shrink the TAM? What if I offend someone? I would argue that it's almost better sometimes to offend somebody, because then you create a lot more, social interaction. And what if we shrink our audience? I've got a great friend that has a very edgy brand that speaks only to people that ride dirt bikes, and not only people that ride dirt bikes, the edgiest of the people that ride dirt bikes. And he is killing it. And he doesn't speak to 98% of the population. He speaks to that 2%, and they freaking love his brand because it's edgy. It feels like them. Like when they wear his hoodie, it feels like it's speaking to them. Like they're part of this edgy, like don't give a shit attitude. Like it's just perfect for that, like that group of people. And he's plenty big, and that's a somewhat small, a lot of people would say that's just a small niche, but it is printing money. So polarizing creates scale. This is the mindset shift. What happens when you plant a flag in the ground? I would argue that everything becomes easier because you know who you are, you know who you're speaking to, you know how to speak to them because you've identified this is us. Take it or leave it. Yes, some people won't like you, and that is good because the right people will love you, trust you, and defend you. And this is how you know you've done it right. And again, I challenge all of you to look around at, look at your brand with an honest purview, but look at other brands that are just growing like crazy, brands that you love, brands that you would wear their t-shirt, buy their bumper sticker. Like they have this personality that you love, trust, and defend. And you buy repeatedly. And you share it. You tell other people about it, and you don't. Maybe there's a few brands that like based on like you've got to have a good, tasting product, a good smelling product, a good feeling product, whatever you're selling. but the brands that you want to go out of your way to tell somebody about, they have a great story and they have a great personality and they feel like a tribe. So this is the big mindset shift that I challenge you with today is tactics versus identity. Tactics improve performance 10 to 20%. Identity, what does it do? It unlocks new channels. It builds loyalty, enables retail, builds community, creates word of mouth. Typically you won't see a brand without a personality get into retail in 2025 and 2026. You need that edge. You can't just be a good product anymore. And this is why big brands feel like movements. Small brands feel like products, and these brands just get stuck no matter what tactics they throw, what ads they throw in the ad account. They're just always playing the game on hard mode because they haven't figured out that to really grow and to get people to love you and share you and buy anything that you create, you have to feel like a personality, a movement, etc. And that is when you scale, when you build a strong personality. Ads get easier, content gets easier, influencers come easier. You wouldn't believe how difficult getting influencers and UGC personalities to buy off on your product, whether it's seeding or paid. If it's boring and if it's just a tactical product, if it feels like a movement and it feels like it's edgy, like they will want to get on camera and talk about it for free because it gives them what we call a social currency, right? Like the Cool Kids Club. If you're in the Cool Kids Club, you're wearing the Cool Kids shirt or hoodie or shoes or whatever, like you'll do that for free because it makes you cooler by association. So make a brand that makes people feel better and feel cooler and gives them status whatever in their niche community by using, wearing, eating, whatever your product or service. Retail comes easier, PR comes easier. It's just, it all becomes easier. You have this one track mind of who you are, and all your messaging in your products become easier. And again, because people just don't buy products, they buy the brand energy. So this one was fast, but I know this is going to make some people a lot of money if they internalize this and actually apply it. And if you don't know how to apply this to your brand, hit me up. I'll get on a free call. We'll jam. We'll talk about how we can influence your brand, kind of create more of a personality and get you scaling. But I promise you, if you think through this, you get with your team and you come up with something that really resonates with people. And then before you launch it, do a workshop, call up 10 of your customers and 10 would-be customers and get their feedback on this. It sounds old school, but some of the best brand operators and scale operators that I work with and I've been a part of, they get customer feedback like crazy. Post-purchase surveys, calling up real customers, flying to customers to get like video footage, and do these workshops, like put in the real work of what do our core customers think about what we're doing. Maybe it's a new product or like this, a entirely new brand kind of identity and personality. You got to make sure that it resonates before you scale it up. And if you do, Meta will reward you, your CPMs will be less, your CAC will be less, you'll be able to scale new channels. Anyway, this is something that's been on my mind. I've seen it work like crazy. And I think that it's what's missing if you are stuck in your brand. Yes, you need to do all the other things, but this is the thing that will move the needle more than any tactic. Go try it, kick some ass, bug me if you need help. I'm always here. Talk to you later. See you on the next one. Peace.